Anyways, next topic. Moving on to Georgia child support situation. Now, Georgia, as of lately, decided that a lot of child support has been getting abused as of late and decided to put some different laws in place. I'm not sure if anybody in the chat lives in Georgia. If so, maybe y'all can you know a little bit more about this law that I'm speaking of. But they're saying what pretty much in Georgia, what factors determine the amount, how it's calculated, and recent updates affecting the families across the state. Pretty much in Georgia, child support is determined under the Georgia Child Support Guidelines, codified in the official code of Georgia 19615. This framework guides courts in calculating support obligations. So it's actually a video. It was this guy that I seen on TikTok. Pretty much was explaining a lot of this stuff that's going on. I'm gonna share that with y'all as well. If you ask me, actually, this stuff should have been put into place. It should have been some kind of laws being put in place to make sure child support isn't being abused, because it's absolutely have. I know a lot of people that's victims of it. They legit are taking care of their children, and yet they still have to pay child support. And then when they receive the child support money, they're not even using it on the children. So Georgia has decided to put a stop to the abuse of child support funds. Give me a second to load up real quick. All right, man. Looking like one of my uncles. Let me go on here and let me know what you got to say.
So Georgia just passed a law that goes in effect October 22nd, 2025 at midnight. And with this new child support law, if you are receiving child support and you do not have your own place, meaning if you are not the head of household or the primary residence at that address, you are no longer required by Georgia to receive child support payments through the child support division. If you are a recipient of child support and you have moved more than 2 to 3 times within 1 calendar year, the state of Georgia is deeming you unfit and unstable. If you are paying child support to a person who does not live, is not the primary residence at that address, if they are receiving child support payment and they are bouncing around from place to place, you are required now by the state of Georgia to report that to child support, report that to defects automatically open up a 30-day case. And if the person that is receiving child support has no adequate place to stay, meaning not with your mama, not with your daddy, not with your auntie, uncle, grandma, meaning if you are not basically a responsible adult, and then if you are not fit, you are not deemed to receive child support. That's when defects step in. If they feel or they deem you are unfit, your children can be taken out of the home. And if the person paying can show that they have adequate housing, stability, they are more likely to get kids. This go in effect.
Now, that last part he just stated, I'm all for that part, because this has been going on for quite a while. In earlier years, before the family court was changed, I can't say exactly what year this took effect, but in prior years, most of the time when a divorce was initiated, or let's just say a child was born out of wedlock, the father was granted, custody of the child because they were the one with the incomes, they were the one more stable. And like I stated earlier in the Cardi B situation, fathers are more likely to parent children on his own better than women. It's just been statistically proven. So I absolutely agree with that law. If the woman is unstable with the children, and the father can prove he has a stable home for them to live in, they absolutely should go and live with their father. That's fine.
October 22nd, 2025. This is a real law. This is a real bill that has been passed. I'm posting everything pertaining to this whole new law all on my TikTok. So if you need or want to know more, tap in with me. Like I said, this is for Georgia and Georgia only. I don't know about any other state, but in Georgia, if you're receiving child support and you are not the primary resident, if you are receiving food stamps is going to bring your child support payment down. There's new laws that's coming, and fellas, go file for shared custody.
Now that's that part. He also had another video. I'm not going to play that one because I'm not going to try to make this segment too long. But it was also another one where he alluded to basically with the payment, they're going to be issuing a payment card and that you're not going to be able to use this money on things that's not in support of the child. So if you try to go to the liquor store and use that money for that, you're not going to be able to just withdraw or use them, swipe your card to, to use it. You're not going to be able to use it to get your nails done, your hair done, because there's so many of them that's doing this. Anyways, let me check this chat. I missed a lot of them on this Trump issue. I knew that was going to spark up something. But anyways, but those are the cities that have less. Okay, I think I read that one. Our forefathers, the government as a whole, allowed drugs, separation of family, and the wealth gatherers as underserved people. We didn't start our Democrats. I'm not exactly sure. Are you saying we didn't start as Democrats? Are you saying like just black people didn't start as Democrats? If that's the case, no, we didn't. Actually, black people were Republican way back. Actually, the first Republican was Abraham Lincoln. For those that don't know that. People forget that Donald Trump was a Democrat and would run as a Republican to make America great. I don't trust none of them. Honestly, a DNA test should be required off top. It would stop the foolishness too. That is a fact. It's highly. They should have a DNA testing done at the birth of every child, because there's a lot of them that's on some child support that ain't even the father, and then they later on find out, and now they can't take back none of that hard-earned money. And then on top of that, you have now built a relationship with the child that is not yours. It's the lesser of two evils, and the Republicans do more damage to poor and middle class than the Democrats. I strongly disagree with that, but I'm not going to get into it. A DNA test should be mandatory in the hospital. I was a caseworker for child support. I made sure I told both parties all the information they needed. Honestly, government assistance was meant for the clear people, and not people like that. Yeah, there's more people on government assistance, food stamps, and stuff like that in their group than us. Although, a lot of people may not think so. But yes, white people are on food stamps way more than we are. Child support and alimony all need to be revamped so it's not used as a weapon. Absolutely. Family court is a major, major problem in our community. Unfortunately, but it is a major issue because they understand that if we can keep them fighting against each other and give one of them an incentive, in this case, is unfortunately it's the woman, give them an incentive to separate from their man, they'll never be able to unite to go against the real cause. We're never going to be able to overthrow and get out of the situation separated. Black man hating the black woman hating the black man. We're never going to get out of this that way. And what's the way to do it? Hey, sister, you keep that man out of the house, I'll give you this, this, and that. Okay. And then, of course, with the rise of feminism that was pushed, of women wanting to work, be independent, that just pushed it even more. So now we're in a system where anything could just make them say, oh, I don't want my man no more. I want to go and do this. And then, of course, you divorce them. You get an incentive. You take half their money. You get to keep the kids and a bunch of other luxury things, depending on what the situation is. Now, you're basically being paid to mess up your own home if you're not even realizing. Let me quote. I heard it all. Remember, we are still counted as 3/5 of a person. Constitution need to be open. And let other races keep their man there while receiving benefits. Not what a lie. That is true. Even the even the illegals. A lot of the illegals are on that same assistance, and of course they have their man. That our system is only in place for us because they want to keep us separated, to keep the rise of the black kings and queens to return. But yeah, anyways, on